Hola, my name's Amy Carrillo. Welcome to Spanish Online. This video is going to show you as briefly as I can how to ace this course. Everything that you need to know and where to find it so that you are not confused and you know exactly what's expected of you and you're going to do really well and have a great quarter. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get started. So when you sign into your Canvas account, you're going to see something like this. It may say Spanish 121, 122, or 123. I teach all three levels. I'm just going to make one video because all my Canvas pages will look exactly the same. So a couple of things that you can do right away to go ahead and begin your success in this course. First of all, you're going to need to get yourself a copy of our textbook called Plazas, Lugar de Encuentros. There's a couple of different ways you can get your hands on this book. The bad news is you do have to purchase the book. You cannot get away with just renting it or borrowing it for this class because you need to buy a license, sorry about that, to your online activities called MindTap. You may have heard of MindTap Unlimited. Some other online classes or some other classes may use MindTap Unlimited. If you already have a subscription to MindTap Unlimited, you should be all set. But if you don't have that for another class or you've never heard of that before, it's the online platform that goes with our textbook. And so let me show you what it looks like. If you go to modules, you can actually purchase it right here in the course. If you haven't been to the bookstore and you don't really care about having a hard copy of the textbook, like if you're cool with having just a digital copy, you can purchase it online just by accessing the MindTap course here in your Canvas page. So each course will have its own one. This one says MindTap course 121. If you're in 122 and you don't have the book yet, click here and it'll take you to a page where you can access it. This is also where you're gonna come to access the assignments. When you're ready to complete your MindTap activities, just come to this link here in the page. It is right here at the bottom of your Start Here module. Sometimes it's its own module, but it's gonna be right here in this general area in the course for you. So that's the first thing you need to do is get your hands on a textbook. We use the book a lot. This course, all my courses, 121, 22, and 23, they all just kind of work their way through this Plazas, Lugar de Encuentros book, okay? So it's an important piece. The next thing you need to do is you need to, well, let me see. I have a PowerPoint here to discuss the different parts of the course. So each of my courses covers 5 chapters in the book. So that's the same for no matter what level you're in, no matter what college you attend, you're gonna cover 5 chapters. Each chapter will have the same 5 kinds of assignments. You'll have MindTap assignments from the book. I just talked about those. You'll have a discussion forum post. You'll have 2 quizzes, a vocab and a grammar quiz. You'll have to complete language lab or Flipgrid every week. And then you'll have a capstone assignment for each chapter. So let me show you where in the course you can find each of these things. I just talked about MindTap. Your link to your MindTap assignments will be right here. Your discussion forum posts, each chapter corresponds with a module in Canvas. The module has a ton of information in it. I know it can be a little bit overwhelming. It's not even necessarily the easiest way to access the information, but I did want to put it all in one spot for people who just want to go one spot for all of the information for each chapter. The discussion forum post will be in the culture section of the module. It is meant to be answered in English, and it's really, there's no right or wrong answer. Most of them are just your opinion on different cultural topics, whatnot. It's an easy way to earn 10 points. The first one is just asking, what do you hope to learn? Like, why are you taking Spanish and what do you hope to get out of it? So that's the first thing that you need to complete for each chapter. The second part, or I guess, so you've got MindTap activities, that's the first part. The second is your discussion forum post. The third grade that you'll get for each chapter is going to be from a quiz. We have 2 quizzes in each chapter. You have a grammar quiz and a vocabulary quiz. If you're ever unsure of what's going to be on your vocabulary quiz, go to your textbook, either your ebook in your digital platform or your hard copy, and find the page called Vocabulario Esencial. It is the last page of every chapter. And on that page, you'll see all of the vocabulary listed there. Is fair game for your vocabulary quiz. Your vocab quizzes are always going to be multiple choice, so that's good news. So as long as you study the vocab on the last page of the chapter, for each chapter, you'll be good. The grammar is based, basically, it's all the grammar I'm going to cover in Language Lab or Flipgrid, and I'll talk about what that is in a minute. Or if you just watch the grammar videos in the grammar section of the module, you'll be getting the same information. You should be doing both. You should watch the grammar videos, and you're going to need to complete the Language Lab or Flipgrid. You're not supposed to be confused about what's going to be on your quizzes. I like to be really transparent. You need to know this, and you need to know this. So the vocab is the last page of the chapter. The grammar is from Language Lab. 2 separate quizzes. I don't give chapter tests. So you'll have a final exam at the end of the quarter that's going to cover everything, all the vocab and grammar from the entire course. But at the end of each chapter, it's just a quiz on each. The last thing, oh, not the last thing. So we talked about the book, discussion forum post, the quizzes, vocab and grammar. Let's talk about Language Lab. Language Lab is a live meeting with me. It looks like this. This is what my Zoom classroom actually looks like. And I will be going over the grammar that you're learning each week and then putting it into what I call like a structured conversation. So I ask you questions and then I frame out the answer. So you have a pretty good idea of how to answer it. You may just need to change it a little bit to match you. So if you're in Spanish 121, those take place on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. If you're in Spanish 122, those take place on Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. If you can't make it, your other option is to complete a Flipgrid video. The Flipgrids is a website. I send out the link each week, and you can go and watch it's basically like watching Language Lab. It's the same information. I talk about the grammar, I go over the questions, I show you how to answer them, and then you respond with a video. It's really easy to use. It's super user-friendly. I like it because if you're not able to attend live, you're still able to get the information and participate in the discussion. Coming to live Language Lab definitely has its benefits. It's more interactive. You know, you can ask me questions as you come up with them. You can hear other people's answers in the moment. Flipgrid also has its benefits. You can do it on your time. It doesn't have to be Sunday nights. It could be any time that works for you. You can still listen to other people's answers, but the feedback isn't as immediate. That's the only drawback. So I like to include both options for my students. I know you're taking an online class for the flexibility. So there's your flexibility, but you have to choose one and you have to complete it every week. That's the only thing that I require to be done every week. The rest of the assignments for the class are all just due by the end of the chapter. And I'll talk about that when I talk about due dates. But Language Lab or Flipgrid needs to be done weekly. And if you miss it, you cannot make it up. And then the last thing, so you get graded on that. And again, that's really just a participation grade. I don't take off points if you make mistakes or if you need help. Like, that's not what this is about. That's practice. So all you have to do is do your best and try, and you get points. And then the last thing that you need to do for each chapter, remember there's 5 assignments for each chapter, is your capstone assignment. And your capstone is basically just where you're going to show me what you've learned in the chapter. The directions for your capstone, well, there's a couple different places you can find it. It's in the module. Each chapter has it in the module. Or you can find it on the calendar too. It doesn't matter where you access the assignments. they'll show up. These assignments here will match the ones in the module. But if you click on it, it will tell you very specifically what you need to do. For example, this first one says, perform the following tasks in Spanish, introduce yourself, say where you're from, tell how old you are, and say how many people are in your family. The thing is with the capstones, this is important. So if you've tuned me out, tune me back in. I'm about to say something really important. The capstones are meant to show me what you have learned in my class, in the chapter, by doing the assignments, by, you know, attending the language labs. They are not meant to be used with Google Translate. That is huge. Please do not, for whatever reason, ever, ever, ever come up with your ideas in English for your capstone assignment, and I don't care what level of Spanish you're in. Don't come up with your ideas in English and go to Google Translate, because it is A, considered plagiarism, and I have to give you a 0. B, totally not the point, because what are you showing me that you've learned by going to Google Translate? Absolutely nothing. So the point of the capstone assignments has to come from the textbook. It has to be information you learned in the chapter. If it includes outside vocabulary, if it includes verb forms we haven't learned yet or that are not related to what we're learning in the chapter, it's irrelevant, completely irrelevant. And that's the one thing I think I cannot be flexible on in this class, is where are you coming up with the information that you're using on your capstone assignment? It has to be what you learned in that chapter. It has to. Okay? So don't make it awkward. Don't make it weird for me, for you, by going to Google Translate. Just don't do it. Okay? I can spot it a mile away. I've been doing this a long time. I know what you've come up with and what's been coming out of Google Translate. This class is not, I'm not giving Google Translate grades. So just don't go there. Just remove it from your ideas of an online Spanish class, please. Okay, back to the parts of the course. So there they are, the 5 parts of the course and where to find them. Let's talk for a minute about how to navigate the course. And I've shown you a little bit of this already, but really quickly, probably the best place to come on a daily basis is to your calendar. The calendar in Canvas will give you suggested daily activities. And I call them suggested because I don't grade things daily or even weekly. I grade things at the end of the chapter. So you can see here in Capítulo Preliminar for Spanish 121, you can come to any day and click on it, and it will tell you exactly what you should be doing that day. You're going to watch this video, you're going to go to page 10 in the textbook, you're going to read, and then you're going to do Mind Tap activities 1, PP16, and PP17. Okay, and then the next day on Monday, all you have to do is just do these Mind Tap activities. So some days there'll be reading to do, some days there'll be a video to watch, some days there'll be activities, or any combination of those things. Okay, so the best thing to do, the best place to come to make your way through this course is come to the calendar, and on the day of the week that it is, click that day, and it will tell you exactly what you need to be doing. I've tried to include links to all the videos right here on the calendar events. That way it's easy. You just read the page, watch the video, and do the assignments. It looks like a lot, but this combination shouldn't take you more than 20 or 30 minutes ever. These videos are short. So that's probably the best place to come. The learning a second language works best in little bits at a time, okay? So probably not going to learn the best if you don't do anything all the way until the end of the chapter and then come to the calendar and try to go back and do these all in one night. Will it work? Yeah, it'll be time consuming and it might take you a few hours, but that's just not the way we learn language best. You got to do it a little bit at a time, and you will need to study. That's the other thing about this class, is that it's not hard. I'm not asking you to critically analyze anything. It doesn't include higher level learning or deep thinking. It's not super philosophical. It's very rote. This is how you say this. This is how you say this. It's simple, but it will require you to put in some time of studying. Okay, So that's the calendar. If you go to your course homepage, and again, this will look the same for Spanish 121, 122, or 123, and you click on the modules, here's where you'll find, first of all, the Start Here module has tons of information in it. Please do go through that. And then each chapter has a module with videos. These are the same links to the videos in the calendar. They're not different, it's the same. And the assignments here. The resources section will have the PowerPoints that I use in Language Lab or Flipgrid. Some people have asked me for them because they find them very useful. You can access these here in the resource section of every module. You'll have that. Okay, so that's how to navigate the course. Lockdown Browser and Panopto. This is the only piece that's different between my TCC students and my Walla Walla students. So TCC students will use Lockdown Browser when they take their online quizzes for monitoring. This is how we make sure that you're not cheating on your quizzes because you take them online. Anytime you go to take a quiz through Canvas, Lockdown Browser will automatically be started. So if you are a TCC student, you don't have to do anything outside of clicking on the quiz when you're ready to take it. So you study, you know, you spend the time learning your vocab, spend the time memorizing the grammar rules. That's important. Before you take a quiz, you have to do that. Then you go, okay, I'm ready, bring on the quiz. You go into Canvas. Probably should show you where to find the quizzes. Couple places, as usual, you can find them in the module. The vocab quiz can be found in the vocab section. It's, you know, called vocab quiz. The grammar quiz can be found in the grammar section. They're also available on the calendar at the end of the chapter. You can click on it here. And then you can even find the quizzes, I think, on the quizzes tab to the left. You can take them by chapter here. So vocab quiz, grammar quiz, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Okay, so there's lots of different places you can access the same information in the course. It's that way by design. I'm hoping that makes it more accessible and less confusing, but who knows? I'd love your feedback on that. Okay, so that's Lockdown Browser. Lockdown Browser will automatically start. You do not need to download it outside of the course. You don't need to go to Google and Google Lockdown Browser. It's not necessary. Once you're ready to take a quiz, once the quarter actually begins, you can't do this during week 0. Just click on the quiz and it will prompt you through it. Panopto, which I've spelled wrong on my slide, I'm realizing. Panopto is the program that my Walla Walla students will use. So if you are a Walla Walla student, show you really quickly. This is what your Canvas looks like. You are going to go to Panopto recordings, and before you take a quiz, you're going to tweaking out. You're going to click here and start up Panopto. So that is up to you. If you're a Walla Walla student, you need to go there and start Panopto before your quiz. And I have a video on how to do that as well. So I'm not going to go into that here. Watch the How to Use Panopto video. If you submit a quiz that does not have a Panopto with it, I can't accept the quiz for a grade. Okay, so make sure that you watch the How to Use Panopto and submit a recording with each quiz. Okay. Last but not least, how will you be graded in this class? Okay, so I've already mentioned this, but I will say it again. All of the assignments for each chapter, all of them, everything I've just mentioned except Language Lab and Flipgrid, those are due weekly, but everything else, the discussion forum posts, the MindTap activities, your quizzes, the capstone, and GimKit, which is just kind of like an online game show that I have for you to practice. All of that is going to be due at the end of the chapter. So for you guys, it's Tuesdays. Nothing is going to be due or graded before that. So you don't need to worry if you miss a day in Canvas and you email me and say, oh my gosh, I missed a couple of mind tap activities in that chapter. Don't wait until the last day. This is why I always say don't wait till the last day to complete your work, because if you have something come up, a family emergency, your internet goes down, your power goes out, and you can't complete all those assignments in one night, you're not going to get a grace period from me, except for maybe like an extremely extenuating circumstance. The answer is no late work is accepted. So know that at the beginning of the chapter, you don't want to wait till the end. And I do not offer extra credit. And the reason I don't offer extra credit is that this class already has so much opportunity for credit. So as long as you're keeping up with it and doing what you need to do throughout the quarter, you should be good. You won't need extra credit. Your grammar quizzes are graded manually, and I have this in the course a few other places just to tell you that, but I inevitably will have students emailing me asking if I can go back and review their grammar quiz because the computer didn't give them credit for, they put a period or they missed a period or a capital letter. And of course, I always grade the grammar quizzes manually. After everybody submits them, then I go in and look, and I love giving my students more credit. So I look for correct answers that the computer missed, and so that I can give you credit for those. And then finally, don't ever use Google Translate. That's second. I just cannot hone in on that enough. It makes me crazy. Do not go to Google Translate. This is not a course in what does Google Translate know, or what has Google Translate learned as, in Spanish 121 or 122 or 123. It's plagiarism, and it will earn you a 0 and an awkward conversation from me. So please just don't do that. Okay, hopefully this video has helped. And if you have any more questions after watching the video, you can always email me. I love helping my students, and I love hearing that you're working through stuff. There's no such thing as a stupid question. So reach out to me. This is my job, and I actually love my job, and I love helping. So I look forward to meeting you all and seeing you in Language Lab or your Flipgrid videos, and good luck this quarter. Adios.